Welcome, Tonya Anderson, to Master AI Disruption. It's a pleasure to have you, Tonya. You're
Thank
calling
you.
from Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yes, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm here in Los Angeles, happy to interview you for our podcast. And without much ado, why don't you just tell us what got you here? Because you did many things before starting guided insurance.
Yes, yes. Well, thanks again, Francis, for inviting me onto the podcast today. I'm really excited about it and appreciate the opportunity. So, as you said, my name is Tonya Anderson. I am owner of Guided Insurance located here in Atlanta, Georgia. And what got me here actually was a career pivot. Okay. I call it my golden pivot because I did it at nearly the age of 50 years old. So, it's a golden pivot. So I earned an industrial engineering degree in the late 90s. I went to work almost immediately after earning the degree, worked for 25 plus years using that degree in various capacities: supply chain, computer systems implementations, frontline supervision, warehouses and manufacturing plants, startups to large companies throughout that career. And then in 2023, a company that will remain nameless recruited me to leave a job that was going fine. I took them up on that offer eventually after about 6 months of recruitment attempts and went to work for that company in November of 2022. They let me choose my salary, work from home. It was just a dream come true. And then in May of 2023, that company threw me a huge curveball, or I like to say a bucket of lemons. And on a weekly Zoom call with my manager in May of 2023, she told me that my job was eliminated effective immediately. So that was very shocking. We use the word disruption here. That was very disrupting, okay, to everything that I'd had going on. So that was a turning point for me. I'd been wanting to be an entrepreneur, but I was afraid because I had enjoyed an illustrious career with no disruption in my working. And then all of a sudden, here's this. So what did I do? After sulking a little bit, trying to find a way to make it my fault, even though it was through no fault of my own, the company lost a contract. They no longer needed two managers. I proceeded to figure out what did I want to do next. I'd been wanting to be an entrepreneur, but I was afraid. But I took that as a sign that now was the time to just go on out there and figure out what I wanted to do. I decided to consult with a recruiter who had recruited me to one of my great jobs of early 2000s, who had since become a State Farm agency owner recruiter. And I asked her her thoughts about me being an agency owner. She, with no hesitation, said I'd be great at it because I know a lot of people. I'm involved in a lot of things. I explain things well. People trust me. And she thought I'd be fantastic. So
Mhm.
from there, I proceeded to get all of my licenses. So PNC, life, health, accident, and sickness. And then went ahead while I was at it, got securities licensed as well. I passed all of those tests the first time and then proceeded to purchase this book of business that's now mine. So now I'm tasked with growing it.
Wonderful. Okay, okay. And congratulations on passing all your exams the first time. That's
Thank
not so easy, One of its
Not so
own.
easy at all.
The one of its own. Yes, yes. Okay. So, all right. So tell us a little bit about guided insurance, a little bit more now. So, which states? What are the policies that you sell? What's your organization like? Yeah, people working with you.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So again, I'm primarily licensed to serve Georgia, the entire state of Georgia, and that's selling all the lines that go under PNC. So that's auto, homes, boats, motorcycles, and then renters insurance, landlord policies as well. And then I can also write specialty things like pet insurance, event insurance. I can write commercial business as well through our brokers. So that's, for small businesses. I can also do life insurance throughout the entire state of Georgia and financial services throughout the entire state of Georgia. I also can write life insurance throughout the entire state of North Carolina. I
Mhm.
wanted to bring something into the mix because North Carolina is my home state. Even though I've been a Georgia resident a very long time now, home is always going to be home. So I wanted to set something up where I could possibly help my high school classmates, my college classmates who chose to stay in North Carolina, be able to offer something to them.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, great. So you've not been long in the business, but have you read or have you seen some trends that, when the person told you it would be great, has she told you anything about the market and the industry? in terms of its evolution.
Right. Even in my short time in this business, it has definitely ebbed and flowed, had its moments like a hill on a roller coaster for sure. I've definitely cleared 1 year in 6 months. So I've seen all 4 seasons of the year. For me in particular, fourth quarter last year was phenomenal,
Mm,
whereas that seems to be not the norm for other agents.
mm,
So, kind of what's happened is, third quarter was okay. Fourth quarter was phenomenal. First quarter of this year was pretty good. And then once spring got here, then I hit sort of a change along with other folks. But now June is starting out to be stronger than April and May, so that's encouraging. As far as the trends, of course, the underwriter controls the rates, and sometimes that makes it more challenging than others, depending on what the other companies are doing with rates. So that was something that's kind of caught me a little off guard as far as being prepared to compensate for that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And reduce margins. Yes, of course. Yeah.
exactly.
As
Mhm.
need be. And okay, so tell us about who works with you now, who's around you, and do you have producers? Do you have back office staff? Or tell us.
Right. Okay. So what I'm doing to set my agency apart is being accessible. So what that means is I typically will have my computer with me just about everywhere I go. So
Mm,
that if I get a phone call from a car salesperson or a mortgage lender or a realtor that has work that needs to be done from an insurance standpoint in the evening, on the weekend, I can be ready. During the week, and during normal business hours, I do have a staff at the moment that includes one person dedicated to primarily doing service work,
mm,
and then two who are primarily dedicated to doing sales work. But
mm,
they're all fully licensed, so they can all do everything. But I just have them more focused on those two areas. So, as far as back office, the underwriter is pretty good at managing that. I've got pretty robust computer systems, a couple of CRMs that we can use. And so, not really much back office that I do hands on from an agency owner standpoint.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And why do you specialize those salespeople? What do you specialize them in certain policies rather than others? Or
Right. It was their choice. When I interviewed
oh,
them, I kind of got to know their personality, got to know what
yes.
they like. One of the questions that I ask in the interview process is, what do you like about insurance? So they all had their own answers. Of course, the ones who are really wanting to maximize earning potential, they want to do sales. They really don't want to get involved in too much service because that doesn't feed into their commission potential. But then the one who does like service, she really enjoys talking to the customers, emailing the customers, being that central point of contact. She's doing a great job at, using agency support when I'm not available to get answers to her questions. And she's learning a lot as she goes. I really like that about her. And then she's fully licensed. She's done sales before. So if there's an opportunity for a cross sale, she can do more than the average service person. She doesn't just say, "Oh, okay, so you want to add an auto to your home now? Let me transfer you to so and so." She'll just go ahead and do that policy. So that's a plus with her.
Wonderful. Sounds like wonderful. So obviously you have some growth objectives, I would imagine, so and a certain vision of where you'd like to be maybe 2 years from now. So tell us a little bit about that next step, taking that agency from an 18 months old first journey to maybe the next 18 months, let's say.
Right. So, of course, I want to take my key learnings from this first 18 months. As I've adopted several more experienced agents and kind of have labeled them as mentors. So they're available and I reach out to them as needed about various topics. So I'll take all those key learnings and apply it to this next 18 months. I think when I think about goals for the agency, of course, when you purchase a book from an agent who stays in business,
Mm,
there's definitely going to be some customers that prefer to stay with the old agent.
yeah.
So once that block from doing so was released, some of that has happened. So a goal will be to replace those folks with brand new customers. So a big goal is going to be retention. That service person that I mentioned, she's really good at getting ahead of renewals, doing
Mm,
policy reviews to try to get that retention number up.
mm,
And she's only been in the role right at a month, and she's already made some improvements on the agency retention. So I'm excited to see how high she can get that up for us. Of course, overall premium, as customers leave, overall agency premium drops. So I would like to restore it to what it was when I purchased the book. And again, as I get new customers and then work to retain the ones that I have, that makes that attainable.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay. So then a question for you. What kind of obstacles you see on the way to get to the next level for you? What you think is likely to happen? And then if it is likely to happen, you probably have thought about some strategies to overcome those obstacles. So share this with us, please.
Right. So of course there are going to be obstacles. I mentioned the rates and how, the agency owner can't control that. So as we're quoting and we start to kind of take note of what companies are obviously having better rates than us, then we shift our focus to other lines.
Hmm.
We're just like, okay, maybe now we focus more on life insurance, or now maybe we focus more on commercial to get that new business that we're looking for until rates flip, because the rates kind of go up and down. One day, State Farm has the best rates. The next 3 months, it might be Progressive and so forth. So that's one obstacle, is that. The other thing will be leads and just the quality of those leads. And just take today, for example, we're trying a different lead source, and just kind of getting some of that same pushback that you get when you purchase leads. It's people saying, I'm not interested in this, people who don't live in the state, that kind of thing. Yet I've paid for these. So that'll be obstacles. And how I'd like to overcome them is to generate leads myself for the agency outside of some company that claims to be a lead generator, and make the leads higher quality for my team.
Sure, sure. Understood. And then as you're talking about all these device workflows and processes, so what kind of role do you see AI play in your agency, as you grow the business and as you pursue your growth objectives?
Right. Yes. Definitely want to use AI as a tool, not be afraid of it, appreciate the things that it can bring. Currently, the way that I'm using AI is for my social media posting. I use it to help write my captions. I'll use it to kind of find out what's trending, to give me some ideas of what to post about. But I know that I'm still going at it in a pretty manual way when I'm using a digital tool. So I definitely want to use it, use the automation
Mhm.
that's associated with it. And again, use it as a tool and not as something to be feared. My company has started they've added an AI component where when we're in a policy and we've got questions about something, we can ask AI right there on the spot for some help in explaining it. So it's here. It has entered the space. And like I said, the best thing to do is to learn how to work with it and use it to enhance the agency.
Sure, sure, sure. Have you had AI in previous jobs, or that was not in your previous corporate, no?
Right. No. So like that last W-2 job I had was 2023.
But
It
before.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. So it had not taken hold like it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So you see AI becoming more and more important in your okay, and how do you see it actually allow you to grow the business without grow the number of heads?
Right. Because of its automation capability, I'm really excited about having it be working for my agency while we're closed, working for my agency while we're
Mhm.
asleep, particularly because, most customers have a W-2 job, and most of them work standard business hours, Monday through Friday. So it makes it difficult for them to do their business with their insurance.
Mm.
So having AI there to be available in the evenings to help them would be a great improvement. And again, just something to set the agency apart, not have someone call and get voicemail, or call and get routed to customer service. They'd be routed to an actual AI that's attached to this agency that's giving them enough answers to hold them over until we do reopen and can finish what they need.
Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's the next thing. And then if you had a magic wand, to change anything overnight in your agency today, 18-month-old agency under your name, what is it that you would change within your circle of influence? So not climate change, not the interest rate from the Fed, but things that
Yeah.
you can actually influence, and whether it's operational or whether it's marketing, sales, a growth engine.
Right. If I had a magic wand, I've learned so much about staffing. from what I thought my staff needed to be when I opened versus what I know now. So I would wave a wand and take what I know now about sales producers and some of the commonalities that they seem to have and more directly getting to the right staff because they really are instrumental in an agency, and it's important to get the right one. So that would be one magic wand action I would take. Another one, if I could go back and do it over again, I would have spent more time before I opened establishing these relationships with realtors, lenders, and folks like that so that they can be a pipeline and getting on their list to be like a first person they go to when they need quotes. So I would have spent more time building a
Mm.
larger network of that before I opened.
Understood. Understood. Okay. Okay. Well, very transformational. So you were saying producers' main traits that you observe. What are they?
A follow-up. I earlier today, so like last Saturday, I'm a member of an international sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, founded in 1908. So it's been around a very long time. I've been a member of it for 30 years. And last Saturday, we did some sprucing up of our sorority building. And while I was there, some of the sisters, we just kind of started networking. While we were straightening up the pantry. And, lo and behold, one of them is a property management company owner. One of them was a broker for that property management company. When I told them I do insurance, they were like, oh, wow, that's great. We've got to get you on our list. We're going to be building this new development, our first time building a whole development
Great.
from ground up. We really want you to be involved in that. So that was last Saturday. Okay. And then I followed up with the broker on Monday and then realized today, hey, they haven't gotten anything from this list I'm supposed to be put on. So let me reach out to them again. So like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, we're glad you reached out. We do need to get you on the list. And then next thing I know, I'm taking flyers and business cards to their property management office to have, my presence there for when their customers come in. And while we were there today, we talked about the gap with, we call them legacy homeowners
Mhm.
whose home has been paid off for many years. And for some reason, they think they no longer need homeowners insurance. And then when a tree falls on the home or they have some sort of other disaster, then they don't have funds available to make those repairs because they don't have homeowners insurance. So we just talked about the opportunity there for education. And, we're all left the conversation very excited. And they complimented my follow-up. So I've found a pretty common thing with sales producers is the
Mhm.
follow-up.
Sure.
They might call twice on day one. They might send one text message and then they move on to the next group. So that part sometimes can cause you to lose business. So on my way back from the property management company today, one of those people who was a referral from a lender sent me a text and said, hey, I'm just calling to get an update on my policy. So it turns out that person wants a condo policy, and we did the quote. The sales producer and I talked about it, and it requires her auto. He did not go back to her and tell her it requires your auto. Thankfully, the closing's not until June 25th, so we still have plenty of time to get this sorted out. But my sales producer went into so much detail with me about it that
Mhm.
I was surprised to get this
Yeah.
call from the client saying that she didn't know where we left it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Now, of course, I've talked to my sales producer. He says he told her. So it could be one of those things where the new home buyer just has so much information
Yeah.
coming at
Yeah.
her, she
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
either.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
But at the end of the day, I ended up closing the loop. This potential homeowner was getting on a flight, so she's either going to call me this evening or tomorrow.
Just going on what? Said on the
A
float?
flight, she's
Oh.
flying somewhere on an airplane. So she's either going to get back with me this evening or tomorrow, and we'll finish it off and add the auto. Yeah. So, it just makes you a little nervous to just know how many other transactions and conversations are going on that maybe didn't get closed and end
That's
up being
true. That's
lost
true.
sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That time to ink between lead to prospect to client, it's a
Yes.
delicate moment. Yeah. They say that
Yes.
speed is of essence. Yeah. Speed is,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
No,
And
really.
because I'm intentionally trying to grow in an alternative way, and that
Mm.
is not buying leads, I am out and about a lot. So it makes it difficult for me to listen to phone calls, to,
Right.
constantly be checking in on things
Yeah.
because I'm somewhere trying to get some business.
Yeah.
So having a strong staff who's really good at the follow-up is so important.
Yeah. And what do you do with your own clients? You do
What's
the
that?
follow-up with your own clients, not the one that the other producers are taking care of. Well, what do
Right.
you do? What's your procedure? What's your workflow?
But yes, so with my own clients, if I'm out and a car salesperson that I've made a connection with sends me a text and says, "Hey, I have someone who needs a quote."
Yeah.
Typically, I will stop what I'm doing and turn on my computer and go ahead and do that quote,
Okay.
because I know that I'm familiar with the phrase in the car business that time kills deals. So, was
Time
that
time kills
deals? Right.
deals. Okay.
Right. Yes. So even though the car dealership might have someone there for hours, when they finally get to the insurance part, they want us to be ready to hurry up. So, right. So I'm appreciative that I'm on the list of insurance agencies that they call. And again, just committed to setting myself apart to getting them that quote quickly, that's accurate, and get it done.
First.
Uh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you
Mm,
travel the weekend with your computer with you. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Let not that time kills your deal. Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you. Tonya, is there anything else that you would like to add for our audience to know about your insurance in Georgia?
Right. So, yeah,
What
of
they do?
course. So we are ready to do those quotes for you, see if we can save you some money if you're in the state of Georgia. If you happen to be outside the state of Georgia, I do have colleagues in just about all 50 states that I can refer you to and assure you that you'll get good customer service. But again, if you're in Georgia, you have family members in Georgia, any kind of ties in Georgia, love to quote them, see if we can save them some money. You can reach my agency via calling the number. We're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. The office number is 678-590-5110. You're also welcome to text me anytime, and I really mean anytime, 404 426 3072. And you can go to follow us on social media to see what kinds of great things we're up to. On Facebook, it's just simply Guided Insurance. On Instagram, it's at guided_insurance. So, yeah, check us out. And thank you again, Francis, for this opportunity. I've really enjoyed talking to you and sharing more about Guided Insurance.
And likewise, Tonya. Thank you for everything you shared. It's an exciting journey that you're on, and I can't wait to see how the evolution goes for you, with all the efforts that you put into it. Thank you,
Yes.
Tonya. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.